Hello and welcome to On the Couch, Conversations with Brenda Porter, where I sit down with artists and those who work with artists, and we have conversations about what they do, how they do it, and how they feel. I'd like you to take the time to comment below, like us, and subscribe. Today's guest is a songwriter, a music producer, an actor, and a comedian. As a singer, he started performing in a group called NBC, Nothing But Class. And he performed at the world famous Apollo. He's performed in clubs all over the South, the West Coast, the Tri-City area. He has several solo projects ranging from R&B, hip hop, and gospel. He has performed in the White House at the Correspondents' Dinner. And you may have heard his work as he won the ASCAP Award for the best theme song for Tyler Perry's House. Today's guest is Paulleo Davis. Welcome, Paulleo.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
I am good. I am excited to talk to you. Let's start. You are a singer, a music producer, an actor, a comedian. Is there anything you don't do?
If you ask my mama, I don't feel my room.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
But I'm glad them days are over. I don't live around no longer, so I'm good. I prefer to focus on the things that I do, so I can be masterful in them eventually.
So you started as a musician, is that correct?
No, I started out as a singer. That was my first love and passion, was singing. I learned that, I know about all the instruments. I'm familiar with all the instruments, but my first instrument was my voice.
Okay, and your genre that you like to perform in?
The genre that I love was R&B, but I don't know, it's crazy this day when people ask me that, what's your genre? I know I'm probably dating myself, but as a kid, my father played this song all the time. I love music, any kind of music, as long as it's grooving, right? OJ's, right? So I love Luciano Pavarotti. You know who that is?
No.
Okay, he's a great, rest of soul, great opera singer.
Okay.
One of the three tenors. I love KRS-One, Biggie, Kane, Diddy, Jay, Biggie, them. And then, of course, I love my pop side, a lot of Annie Lennox, the Beatles, right? My name Paul came from Paul, right? And of course, my father being a preacher and pastor some years ago came from the Apostle Paul, so it's kind of mixed in with mother and father. And then of course the rock and roll side, B.B. King and the jazz, B.B. King and jazz, and then Miles Davis, my favorite jazz artist of all time.
So you have a nice eclectic taste, which I love, because music it just sort of speaks to people, and depending on how you're feeling that day, whether it's classical or rap or rock, which is really wonderful. But you also not only sing, you write.
Yes, I am a songwriter. You know what? Whenever you think about songwriting, people have this innate ability to try to craft out certain words, certain ways, certain cadences to the song. But honestly, if you just put pen to paper and to own thyself, be true, right? If you just true to yourself and just lay it down, a lot of times those are the best songs. And a lot of people would say, out of hurt and pain comes true reveal of whom you are. But there are days when you're not always hurting, because music carries the spirit, right? You have songs that make you want to dance, songs that make you sad, make you happy, songs that want to make you make love, right? And then there's plenty of songs that make you just nowadays love the beat, right? More than the words. So it varies, but I love songwriting. Yes.
So you are an award-winning songwriter. You
I
want an
am.
ASCAP.
I had a wonderful opportunity to write a song for Mr. Tyler Perry's original, the theme song for House of Payne, the original theme song. And the gentleman that helped me with that was LaVolta Allen, and he produced the music, and I wrote the song and performed it and sang it.
You said the original.
So after the original was played, they stopped playing the original and they didn't play anything. So if you check out the song today, there is no longer a theme song, right? So now it's just nothing. It just comes on like the show starts and you hear a bam bam and that's it. It's like so that's where we are today. But the original song won me an accolade because it played for the first season. So because of the song was the most popular song of that year, the award came to me.
And so you won an ASCAP. Tell us what an ASCAP is.
It's American Composers Songwriting Publishing Award. And it's an award that's given out among your peers. So like a Grammy gives out because of the people,
Mm-hmm.
the ASCAP, a BMI, or CSAC award is given out among those within the industry. So to me, it's much more prestigious because when I went to the awards show, you saw nothing people that actually did the same thing I did, but they happened to say that year, I did it the best. Yeah.
And how did you, how did that come about? Did you just walk up and say, hey, I want to write it, here's a song?
No, not at all. You listen,
right?
you know it's not what you know, it's who, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a gentleman that knew Tyler. I don't know Tyler Perry personally, Mr. Perry, but I know, but the gentleman who did the music, his family member works with him. So when the idea was presented, he brought it back to him and said, hey, Tyler's looking for a theme song. And he said, okay, all right. So he said, I want you to make the music. He told him, he said, I'll make the music. Then he had spoke to me about it. He's like, yo, listen, Tyler Perry, this is in the beginning. He was like, you know, the guy that does the plays. Like, hey, he's like, yeah, he's doing a TV show. He said, but he was a theme song for his new hit show is going to be on the air called The House of Payne. He said, you think we should do lyrics? And I said, the only TV show that I know of that only has just music is Quincy Jones. So I said, yeah, and that was just, well, that's Quincy Jones, baby. So I said, now let's get some lyrics. So he's like, all right. He said, I'm gonna give you a couple of tracks and sing. So I wrote some stuff and then he presented it to them. Now, the rumor has it is Mr. Perry asked for Stevie Wonder to do the theme song for the show, and Stevie Wonder agreed, but he was on tour, so he couldn't get to it in time. So there was crunch time, so he ended up using my song, which I feel privileged. Now, I can't deny or confirm, that's what I heard.
That doesn't matter. You want an ASCAP for it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Are there more theme songs for shows in the future?
Yeah, so the goal is every time you do some type of work like this, you're looking for more work, right? Because it's not only what you love to do, but it's a passion. It's a passion. So yeah, I have some Disney stuff that I'm waiting in the can. And a lot of times you kind of create things and you're just waiting to hear the green light and go, yes, we want it. But there's plenty of songs that I've done for TV shows and commercials that I'm waiting to hear back, the thumbs up. So once that comes in with the green light and a check, I'll put it on my resume.
So the pandemic has really affected a lot of people. How did that affect you as a music maker, as an actor, as a producer?
Yeah. Now with the pandemic, which we're definitely keeping everyone, families and friends in prayer. Be it on the side of vaccinated or not vaccinated, be safe, right? Keep your distance, wear your mask, do your elbows, wash your body, please, all right, right? So my key thing is whenever I'm working on music, I'm still a producer. So I'm always producing music outside of either doing the acting or the comedy or either performing. The performing, because, we have such a platform these days with the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, and also now TikTok, right? You can kind of just be in your room like how we are right now, zooming it and performing without anybody around you, not worrying about wearing a mask or anything, and still get off your creative juices and creative energy. So it didn't stop too much.
In addition to doing this fabulous House of Payne song, you performed at the White House. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yes. So let me. There's a little correction. So I didn't go to 1600 Pennsylvania. The corresponding dinner that they usually hold there, they didn't hold it there that year. They held it here in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta. So everyone from Colin Powell, they all came to Atlanta, and I performed there. So the whole panel heard me perform. I wrote a song, a woman's theme song, and I sang the song for the performance, and it was outstanding to my knowledge. Yeah, wow. Which was really great. And I definitely got an invite to the White House, but at that point, it was just kind of like, it turned into a thing of like, hey, remember that invite? Who are you again? Right. Okay.
Yeah, that happens. You meet people, you have a great conversation.
Right.
Oh, I live in France. Come visit. And, like, okay. And then you're like, who are you? So I'm like,
Exactly.
So talk to me a little bit about your acting.
So I am starving for a thespian role. I want to be able to have a lead role eventually. So people kept saying to me, what you need to do is do the background stuff. Just get in the door and do your thing. So I did that. Some companies was like, hey, you got a good look, good vibe, good energy, good height. You're sexy, right? And then what ended up happening was they casted me for a couple of background things. I did, Irv Gotti has a TV show called Tales. Mm-hmm. I played an officer in Tales. And he pulled me up like, yo, listen, I want to use you. So I did that. Then there was a couple of stuff on Fox TV. I can't name the shows, but some of those like real like sci-fi movie TV shows. Really a lot of fun. You dress up in camera, do the makeup, great experience. But my noted performance that I'm really being seen was in the Just Mercy. In Just Mercy, I played an inmate. No lines, no words. But he asked me, his name is Daniel Detail, I forget his name, the director, Detail. But he was really, he said, hey, can I ask you for a favor? Like, sure. He said, where you from? Brooklyn. Brooklyn all day? He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, I need that energy. Come here. He said, listen, Jamie Foxx was in it as well as Michael B. Jordan. He said, Michael B. Jordan's going to drive up. I want you to give him that Brooklyn look, like how, because we had to cross the street. He goes, I want you to give him that Brooklyn look, like, you better not hit me. You better not hit me. So that's one of the scenes that you see me cross the street and Michael B. He stops and see my face. And that's when my whole family goes, you're a star. That was one of the big moments on the screen, which was really good. And phenomenal performance by both of them gentlemen, and a great movie.
There seems to be more, because of the Black Lives Matters, and the attention to all of the inequality that's happened in a real surgence of trying to pay attention to Black performers, Black stories. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a lot more opportunities for us in terms of African Americans' stories being told. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that in terms of us being out there or not out there?
So Hollywood has always shown us in a kind of light that we was in an unnormalized light, where it felt like they got the story out about slavery or about our oppression or about our pain or about our hood or about what we were going through, but it was told through a lens of maybe a different narrative, right? So being able to get Black directors, which there are far and few in between, to able to get something to the major screen. Now, the platforms are like Netflix and many other platforms that people can now do things, and even just private sectors to be able to tell their story in a real conversational way, where we are talking about Black homes, Black fathers, Black mothers, Black children, Latino fathers, Latino mothers, Latino children as well, even Asian, right, as well. And I would love to be a part of that conversation of narrating. I wrote a mini kind of series. It's called Kissing Cousins. It's a real like 30-minute segment. It's a situation comedy, but it's still based on the notion of my grandmother, rest her soul. She recently passed some years back, but she had 18 kids, right? So yeah, that's my mother's side. My father's side, I think almost like 20. So it was a big difference, right? So we were all close. All the cousins were close. But we had so many different characters of cousins, right? I had so many different, the tall one, the short one, the skinny one, the fat one, the attractive, unattractive one, right? You had the gentleman that sold the street pharmaceuticals, right? And then you had the one that was brilliant and went to school, right? So it's like you have all these guys, but it was called cousins because we all connected. We all were still together, and we became separate. What brought us together was her homegoing. So I would like to be a part of that culture of telling these stories from our perspective. On top of our perspective, be funny, be energetic, be sensual, be sexual, be charismatic, be, have that Black kiss of one swag that we normally have, right? But be able, because I learned years, Norman Lear, right? Mm-hmm. Him and many others wrote so many Black stories. How is that even possible? Like, you don't understand what I saw Denzel say this one time, Mr. Denzel Washington. You can't tell the sound of a hot comb because you never had that experience in the kitchen or even what it smells like, right? So certain things you can't identify with, only we really can. So yeah, I look forward to doing that or being a part of that.
Well, that brings me to the question of who can tell whose stories, because if you are attracted, and it happens in music all the time, right? So in music, if you are attracted to Bollywood, there's nothing that says you can't do that.
Of course not.
But we say in writing our stories, we can't write that. You can't write a Bollywood.
No. You would have to be a part of that culture to understand it. It only makes sense. Now, yes, as an artist, as a producer, as a composer, as an actor, right, as a singer, right, I can use my imagination. Yes, I could. How authentic is it, right? Neo, the great Neo, has written so many wonderful female songs, right? And you'd be like, well, he's a male. How does he do that? Well, he tapped into, some characteristics of his own. Whether they want to dispute whether he's gay or not, that doesn't even matter. The fact that he was able to come into terms and say, I've had some female friends, I have sisters or mother, and I've heard them speak this way, right? Or I've heard them discuss this. Now I put it to melody, put it to song, and now you have this great masterpiece.
Okay. So it's a matter of what can you tap into, or
yes,
or what we're,
yeah, because if you watch certain movies, certain TV shows, okay, Jamie Foxx is phenomenal. We know that.
Right.
Denzel's phenomenal. Those two movies I can mention of there, they were out of themselves and they had tapped into someone else. Malcolm X and Ray.
Fabulous movies.
I didn't know if it was Ray or Jamie playing. I couldn't tell who. I was like, what? And then Malcolm X, I thought it was didn't know if it was like they took excerpts from an old clip, or was it Denzel? Like it was just that, and that's the tapping into. That's what I'm speaking about. And even in the writers, when you think about what's the gentleman name? Stephen King. Mm-hmm. When it comes to his movies and scare you, you're genuinely like, ooh, how did he come up like his mind? Like,
it scares me.
Yes, of course. You have to be somewhere in a dark room, really with a candle, just really over, right? This young lady, is it J.R. Rowling? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Rollins?
Rollins, excuse me, John Rollins. She wrote this book about these kids in this castle that, right? How was she, like, how did she, like, she had to use her imagination to that process, right? Now, Spike Lee, one of the great ones, right? He literally, growing up for me in Brooklyn, right? Do the Right Thing was big for us. But he was telling our story, like how injustice of the cops and love and hate, how he was expressing how he, loved working, got to get paid, Mookie, right? You just got to get paid. So we felt that, but that came from his side. But then Jungle Fever, right? You see how the Black man is conveyed by the TV shows, how, different persuasion is better than our persuasion, and we get caught into that mode, right? Even the woman was saying her being her complexion, she got teased, whether was she light skinned, was she black, was she right? So that's something that you have to really have to understand as a director and the culture. Like, no one will understand that, like, as a light skinned woman, to understand what side you're on. Right? Anybody outside would be like, you're just black. No. But in the Black community, now you're too light skinned, your hair too straight, right? It's so much. So much. But at the same time, it's creative in how you express it, explain it, develop it, and deliver it. It all makes a difference.
It does. It makes you think about some of the great movies and how they may have been different had they been directed by someone.
Of course.
You even take The Color Purple, and Spielberg did an excellent job.
He did.
But how would it have been different had it been directed by someone of color?
Of color, right. It would have been longer. I think there would have been some more heroes.
Okay.
Right? Some more heroes. That's because we, in any story, there's a beginning, middle, and end, right?
Right.
And at the very end, you want to see us win, right? Right. You want to see us like Star Wars, right? The main character in Star Wars was Luke Skywalker.
Right.
Who directed Star Wars? George Lucas.
Right.
Luke Skywalker was after George Lucas, right? So all he did was see himself.
I didn't think about it that way. Yeah.
See himself. That's it. So I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, you want to win. You want to come out on top at all costs. You have this ladder you're climbing. You're dealing with the crabs in the barrel. You're dealing with the naysayers. You don't believe. Oppositions you have with people pulling you down or not making it, and then you have your own issues. So it's enough. So now you make this storyline where you can come out on top and you can be someone great, even if it's for 2 hours and a half. It still feels amazing.
So what projects are you working on now?
The main one that I got things that I'm working on and people I'm working with, but the main one right now is I did an album called 821, and after my birthday, I'm a Leo, right? As I said.
Right. Oh, right. Leo. Okay.
Right. But I there's a song called "Give Love" on the album. Not particularly this album, but it's on there, but a different version. I created a whole new version, and I want to promote this song to the best of its ability, to the point of where we are all over this world have to receive and give love. It is mandatory. I don't care what kind of love you speak of. I don't care if it's a 5-year-old sharing a piece of candy with another 5-year-old. I don't care if we open up the borders and let our immigrants in. I don't care if we drop off food in Bali. We have to somehow show that kind of compassion and back to agape love. So that's the song that I'm working on immensely. Visuals, content, the insights. I'm actually getting this song mixed and mastered properly. I got some award-winning people working on it that I'm excited about. They asked me to share the name, and I told them, like, don't say it, because they want to make sure it comes out right. I had someone who worked with, it's funny, a gentleman, he was like, Paul, I love this song, but and the one thing about certain engineers and musicians, other musicians, when they hear a song and they say to themselves, oh, I know what to do. Give that to me. It's as beautiful as those that say, no, I don't want to touch that. I'll mess it up. Because they know that's not the forte, which is beautiful to me. And I've had some people say, like I went to someone and they was like, no, Paul, I know who will make this song go. And that was a beautiful thing to me because instead of him trying it or feeling his best, he felt like I know, and he brought it to someone, and someone who's working right now is amazing. It's amazing. So I'm excited.
So when's it coming out?
So we're in the fourth quarter now. I'm thinking the top of the year, maybe the first quarter. I'm gonna start maybe performing in different venues, maybe in November during the holiday season time. But by the top of the year, it should be in full-fledged, ready to go.
Yay. So can you tell us the name of it so we can look for it?
Yeah, the name of the song is called Give Love. Now, let me say this. There's been an argument, not argument, more or less, one of the producers along with me is like, yo, the title should be something else. I named it Give Love a long time ago, and I've been running with that. But I'm saying Give Love now because that's what's in my head, but it may change.
Okay. Well, we'll keep we'll just keep our eye out and ear out for your name. How about that? And then
Paulleo Give Love. We'll stick with that. That's fine.
That's right. So whatever comes from there. Did you play all the instruments on this song? On this?
I did. I play piano. So my main instrument, I guess, again, is my vocals, right? But I play piano, I play guitar, and I play rudiment drums. Now, when I say rudiment drums, right? It's the typical. If I need to get fancy, I get my drummers in there, right? But if I'm just keeping the rhythm. But the guitar, I didn't study as much as I did piano because piano is my first instrument that I love. I learned guitar for certain chords, certain progressions that I use for my songs, but I never did it live. I play in studios sometimes for other artists, certain things of that sort. But whenever I need to perform for myself or accompany myself comfortably, it would be the piano.
Okay. So you played the instruments on this. Someone else is mixing it. You're getting it all together. It'll be out, we hope, in the beginning of the year.
That's right.
If you were talking to your younger self, what advice would you give yourself?
Shut up. You're being set up. Because I'm an extrovert and I'm so out there and so excitable and so talk. Sometimes people take my words and they either misguidedly use it or don't understand because I'm so Brooklyn, I'm so New York, it gets contrived. And you're taught in New York, listen, you got to go for it. But sometimes having humility, and I'm not saying being humble in a sense, but humility of just being quiet. That's being humble too. Just being quiet. You may know more than the person, but the moment you show that you can, sometimes they put you in the back of the bus, Rosa Parks. So shut up. You're being set up because they're listening, but they're using it against you. You think you're inviting them to like you, enjoy you, thrive in you. They're not really doing it. They're using it as a chess move. It's a pawn move. So just be quiet.
Wow. Okay.
I had to learn that in very, very many hard ways. So now I have 3 boys. I teach them that every single day. Not true. My eldest, here we got it. My middle son, yeah, shut up. Shut up.
Are they musicians as well?
They're getting into the business as well. They want to be actors and not rappers or singers like that, but they're more modeling and things of that sort. And my baby wants to, babies want to be, on camera and TikTok famous. TikTok videos. They want to dance. They can't dance, right? But it's okay. It's all right. As long as, listen, the goal for me is to guide. That's what I believe being a guardian is to guide, right? So my job now is to guide them in that direction.
If you weren't an artist, what would you be?
Oh, I would be an artist.
If you weren't an artist, you'd be an artist.
Exactly. because let me tell you, the moment my mother said when I was 4, I had a guitar, a broom. You just kept around the house, right? And as many times as I tried to stop not doing it, I felt it was whack. Industry is this. Like New Jack City and Pookie, it keeps calling me and calling me because I love the music side. The business side, I understand that because you need music business. You need the business as well as the music. But I love to perform. I love to sing. I love the energy. I love to give off this notion of making the world a better place through song and dance. And I wouldn't, if it was free, I performed in parking lots as a kid, no problem, right? They look for a dime. Yeah, they throw dollars and coins, but I wouldn't do it today. I got bills. But the love of it, it's just the love of being able. When I see El DeBarge go into a hotel and he's there for maybe a conference, or maybe he's there just to meet a friend, and he sees a piano and he sits down and he just plays. I had some problems. And you're like, right? You do it because you love it. It's just because you simply love it. And yeah, I would not be anything. The only other thing that I think I honestly would be outside of that, I think is the most I bow to this profession. I am, and it's sad, but a lot of times they don't get the credit only because of some bad apples. Would be a teacher, school teacher. Yeah, forget about the pay, but I do believe that children are the future, and you have to teach them properly to mold them, and I that's something that I really, really, really love. But ultimately, yeah, and then you have those teachers that love their students, and when you see teachers finding a way to get through to them, because it's difficult, right? You're of age where you're not their age, and you want them to be respectful, but then at the same time, you're dealing with spirits, right? These little human souls, and whomever or whatever they are around, they are adapting and bringing into the classroom. So now you have to generalize, deal with each particular one, and you can't deal with them the same because they're not. So it is a lot, but I bring it on. I love it.
Yeah, but there's also just rules now. It's like teachers who really love. I mean, we had teachers, or I had teachers who would invite us to go to a ball game with them.
Of course.
And have all the girls over and have a party, and then have all the boys. You can't do that now.
No. When I was growing up as a kid, I'm in 4th grade, Mrs. Seldes. If you're watching Mrs. Seldes, hi, right? But yeah, me and 4 other students went to her house, right? Her husband came to the door, like, hey guys. He's like, hey, Mrs. Seldes, is Mrs. Seldes home? Like, yeah, sure. He's like, hi guys. And she was just as sweet as can be. And it was not like, she wasn't, it's 4 Black kids, right? And she was a white teacher. So it was like, she wasn't like, ah! She really opened the door and it's like, she didn't even ask, how do you know where I live? That wasn't even a question of hers. She's like, how you guys doing? And she was so proud and excited. And we went in the 6th grade, and she was in our focus. So we went to go visit her to tell her thank you, we loved her. And that was it. Not today. What?
No. But that's what helps, because that's that village that raises a child. Of course. Got, especially since our family units no longer live all the same place. So you got somebody in Chicago, somebody in New York, somebody in Georgia, somebody in Texas. So you don't have the family.
Of course.
And the school teachers were part of those.
Of course.
The
school teachers,
preachers.
The milkman. We'll keep that in prayer, right? Right. The mail person, all those people you kind of knew in your neighborhood growing up, And of course, growing up, you couldn't walk down the block and not someone say, if you do something wrong, hey, I'm gonna tell your mother, and you get nervous or scared. right? Right? Do your mother know you doing that? Right? No, So right now, I try to not parent everyone, right? Because I have my own babies, but if I come across a kid all gangster, thug, and pimp, I'm looking at him like, pull your pants up, man. I want to see you live, bro. I want to see you live. Because you know how, these officers can be, right? I was 16. I'm not 16 now, but I was 16 at one time. I know how that feels. You feel like invincible. Bro, listen, I'm telling you right now, pull your pants up. Trust, you're going to thank me later. Pull your pants up, okay?
Do they do it?
Yeah. You know why? I'm 6'7".
Oh, that's a good reason.
and my tone changes as I'm speaking to boys and young boys, because you have to be in a fatherly big bro mode, right? And if you speak to them like, it was popping, King. Hey, listen, man, put your pants up, baby. I want to see you make it. Put your pants up, fam. You good, man? Listen, put your pants up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I ain't not much older than them, but they get it. Someone cares. That looks like them, right? So they're not seeing me with my pants hang down low. They just seeing me with the jewels or whatever, or the fancy rate for the. And so all they just see like, oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And some do it real slow, like, who we think he is, right? I get those. I hit him with the, love you, my boy. Keep moving, right? So now kids are so homophobic these days. Pause, easy. All right, he's like, what? I can't say I love you without you thinking I want to date you. Cut it out. Stop it, my J. Like, so that's why I always, and yeah, you got to be careful with certain people, but I discern spirits. I kind of feel that vibe. You can feel when they're just kind of like, you're young in the streets and they need guidance. It's all good because we all do. We still do. I know I do. Yeah, I know I do. So yeah. So there's no I'm better than you, you better than me type of vibe. It's just, listen, each one, reach one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of each one, reach one, you're a PK. Is that correct?
I am a PK. Yeah. I grew up in Pentecostal Apostolic Church in Brooklyn. What up, Hezekiah Walker? What's popping, baby? That was my pastor back in Brooklyn. He met, he got me and wifey together, got us right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I sang with him, did some shows and performances. Yeah, and I worked with some other great artists as well. Donald Lawrence, just a whole bunch of different people. And we sang with John P. Key, of course, Kim Burrell, and Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, all those people, which is really dope.
So how much has being a preacher's kid affected your work?
So here's the main story behind that, which is crazy. When I was mad young, I must have been like, I don't know, 11, 13. When you hear these pastors preach in the church, boy, and they give it to the old school churches, you're going to hell, right? Right? You sitting there like, oh my God. So you're sitting there, you're thinking to yourself, like if the pastor's like preaching about R&B, R&B music, or get your life together, make sure you don't sing them songs, singing them R&B records. And then you're like, but I like R&B. So you're like sitting there thinking to yourself like, but, so I went to my grandmother, right? And she's like, what's wrong? I was like, Grandma, I don't want to go to hell. So she's like, wait, what's going on? What happened? I said, the pastor said that if I sing R&B music, I'm gonna go to hell. And she said, and I'll never forget this. She goes, Paul, you love God. Paulleo, you love God. And it's not what you sing, it's the content of your heart.
What a wise woman.
So, because I said to myself, Stevie Wonder sings, I just call, say, is he going to hell? Is he going to hell for saying I love? Is it God love? Because somebody, that was my whole battle. Now, I understand Purple Rain was a little bit too risky. I get it, all right? But still, Prince is a genius, all right? It's like, and right, biblically speaking, I studied the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. I studied all the, God, what he said, yo, the gifts and talents are given to you without repentance. You ain't gotta repent. I'm gonna bless you with them joys. You want to sing? Here you go, my boy. Here you go, my guy. Here you go, sis, daughter, right? You can do all that. You ain't gotta be loving God. I'm gonna give it to you because that's what it is. But how you use it to give back is what's key. You know.
All right.
So I do sing my praises, and I do sing, you know, I don't want to say my street worldly songs, but I have a balance, right? It's the yin and the yang. It's a balance. That's all.
As we come up to an end, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about, first of all?
Yeah, you know something, people, when it comes down to musicians and artists and composers, actors in the arts, study to show yourself approved, right? That's back to that 66 books. 66 books. You know what 66 books? Listen, I'm telling you right now, if you want to be dope at anything, you can't wing it. Listen, you can kind of like get by. And I'm not mad at a one-hit wonder. I'm not. Because I know one-hit wonders are still performing today, making lucrative money, right? But if you're telling me you want to do this and do it for real and be taken serious, study. Take your time out to learn your craft, your gift, your talent, and don't rush it. Because when your time come up, can nobody stop you.
So, Mr. Paulleo, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me today on the couch. If you're listening today, I want to thank you for being here with us. And please come back next time. We'll have another fabulous conversation on the couch. Make sure that you comment below, like us, and subscribe. And meanwhile, keep the conversations going.
Let's have a heart-to-heart. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a heart-to-heart. Let's have a consultation. Let's have a heart-to-heart. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a heart-to-heart. Let's have a conversation. On the couch. On the couch.